Hello, everybody. Today I'll be teaching you about how to do the law of sines and law of cosines. So first we'll go with set up how the problem would work. So you put sine of A over A equals sine of B over B, and that equals sine of C over C. Okay. So with how a triangle's set up, let me draw this out here real quick. All right. So here I got the equation right here. The difference in these, with how you use the law of sines, is you will take two of these, whichever ones you want to use for that particular problem. Depends on what you have available to you, and you'll go from there. So here we see that angle A is opposite of side A, angle B is opposite of side B, and angle C is opposite of side C. So the small letters here would be the sides, and then the big uppercase letters would be the angles. Okay, we'll start with a problem here. We'll draw a triangle out here, and we'll have the triangle set up the same way. So you'll have A, B, C um, angles and A, B, C sides. So angle A, we'll have it be 50 degrees. Okay, side A will have at 5, and side C you will have at 4. Up right there. Okay. So you'll set up sine A, okay, because you have angle A and you have side A. So that will be your complete part of it. So sine of 50 degrees over 5 equals, and what we want to try to find, what we're going to try to find here is the angle C. That's what we're trying to go for. Okay. Um, so the reason we're doing angle C is because we have one of the sides of C. So it makes it easier to, or it makes it possible for us to figure it out. Okay. So then we'll equal sine of 50 degrees over 5 to sine of C over 4. Okay. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to try to get sine C by itself. So you do that by multiplying by 4 to both sides. Um, and so you'll get 4 times the sine of 50 degrees over 5. Okay. We'll see sine of C. So the next part you'll do is you'll calculate all this out on the left side here. Leave sine C alone for now. We'll take it a step at a time. And doing all the math and stuff like that, you'll get around 0.613 equals sine of C. Now, because we're trying to find the angle, we want to take the inverse sine of C. So the inverse sine is, so you'll put angle C equals sine -1 as it like an exponent. And then you'll multiply that by 0.613, which is our answer we just got. Okay, so that's kind of how we set it up there. Okay. Um, and when you put the inverse sign in, you'll get that angle C equals 37.8 degrees, roughly. Um, so another thing that you could do after this, to find other things, you could do the law of sines again. After you find the angle of B, which is found by doing 180 minus the two angles that you now have. So it would be minus the 50 and minus the 37.8. So you'll see that angle B will be 92.2 degrees. And this will allow you to do the law of sines again so that you can find side B. Okay, next we'll move on to the law of cosines We'll talk about this real quick. Okay. So basically, what you're going to do is um, you're going to do this one when you're given three sides, or you're given a side angle side, um, like in a row. So the reason that we'd have to do this is because we don't have enough information to do the law of sines. Um, like for example, in the law of sines, the equation we just did, we had sine of 50 over 5. This one down here, it would be like sine of 50 over um, was it A? So side A. So we wouldn't have a complete equation to the thing. The law of cosines, you set it up by doing um, here, I'll just write down real quick in just a second. Okay. So there's three different ways to write this equation down. I wrote down here, right here. This is one of the ways. So this is side of a squared equals the side of b squared plus the side of c squared minus 2 times the two sides together times the cosine of a. Okay, it can be written down with a b squared in front, and then you'd use the other two that you don't have. So you do b squared equals a squared plus c squared minus 2ac of cosine b. So basically, what you want to do, how you want to set up, is you want to have the side and the angle be at the opposite ends, and you want to fill in everything else with other angles or sides that you're going to be using. So with that, we'll draw a triangle here real quick. Um, Same format as the other one, so the ABC. Um, and we're going to try to find side A on this one. So this one will have side B, side C, and angle A. Okay, so where I have set up. So we have side C is 7, side B is 9, and side A is 37 degrees. Okay, so we'll take that equation that we just did, that I just wrote down, the A squared equals the B squared plus C squared, and so on. We'll plug in all the numbers for that, and we'll go ahead and solve that. So we don't know A, that's what we're trying to find. So A squared equals B is 9, so 9 squared. C squared would be 7 squared minus 2 times 9 times 7 times the cosine of 37. Okay. So we have it up right there with all the numbers plugged in. What you're going to want to do is you want a by itself. So you need to take the inverse of a squared, which is a square root of it. So you want to square root both sides to cancel out that exponent of the two for the a. And you'll plug all these numbers into a calculator on the opposite side of the a. And in doing that, you get that a side a will equal roughly 5.42. Okay. Um, yeah, it's roughly 5.42. So, um, yeah, this will allow you to do the law of sines to find other things. And yeah, that's about it.